Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 442, and today we're doing battle in a Singleton gauntlet. And so today we have a very interesting Gangplank Sejuani deck, or should we call it a Samira Fizz deck, or should we call it a Feel the Rush deck? I'm not entirely certain which of these three aspects we would look at as being the real key number one piece of the deck, but all three of the synergies play fantastically together. And so what I hope for at the end of the day is that we aren't really half-assing this deck. You know, that's one of the concepts we talk about a lot when it comes in terms of deck building, to where you try and fit in like 3 or 4 or 5 different themes and nothing in the deck works particularly well except for that one game where everything magically comes together. We kind of call that half-assing the problem, right? As Ron Swanson would say, you don't want to half-ass a bunch of things, you want to whole-ass one thing. But I feel like there's a lot of synergies between these things to where it doesn't feel like we're half-assing the majority of the deck. And so the kind of 3 pillars of the deck, again, number 1, we have Feel the Rush. That makes it fairly easy to just outright win the game. Nothing wrong with putting 40 stats worth of champions directly on the board. But when it comes to your Feel the Rushes, you definitely want to have champions with immediate impact on the board, be that elusive or overwhelm. And so the majority of our champions can do that. Fizz can get elusive. Jack will immediately flip off of a Feel the Rush. Gangplank and Sejuani both have overwhelm. So 4 of the 6 kind of fit the bill right off the bat. And we only have sort of bad Feel the Rushes off of Samira and Twisted Fate. And so I think I'm okay with that. Ideally, we would have the full 6 champions just ready to go. But I feel like at least as one elusive or overwhelmed champions comes on board at that stage of the game, we'll be okay. Element number 2 of this deck is this is a very heavy Samira Fizz deck, as you would see running around in Standard. And so it has this massive pile of elusives in it with things like Prowling Cutthroat, Father Fury, Mirai Songstress, Zap, and Inferna, topping off with Fleet Admiral Shelley, and it's looking to use some unit boosting to make those elusives much more worthwhile. And so the Fleet Admiral Shelley is kind of an all-encompassing package on her own, but then the likes of the Tusk Raider boosting all of the units in our deck, and my favorite synergistic piece in here, Spirits Unleashed, really coming through, giving all of those units the bonus +1/+1, while also having the option to deal the damage to everything. That 1 damage to everything is what really ties in to the Gangplank Sejuani aspect of this deck. They're both extremely, extremely high-powered champions if they're able to get the flip. And so the Plunder aspects of the Fizz Samira half of this deck really tie in with the damage-based aspects of Gangplank and Sejuani, in that they want us to get leveled up as fast as possible by dealing damage to the enemy nexus. And so we have a lot of both Plunder activators and Gangplank Sejuani activators, be it Warning Shot and Blade's Edge, Stylish Shot, Parlay, just those really cheap ways to come in and deal those points of damage. But the elusive units that we have out of the Samira Fizz package, the cheap plays that we have going along with them as well, really tie into some of those dual usage aspects of activating our plunders, but also activating our champions. And so that's the deck. That's what we're doing battle with today. But before the battles begin, you know what we have to do. We have to go and pay that pay-to-win price. And I think it's going to be Inferna today. I checked it out earlier. She's one of those dual-use kind of champions to where she has the elusive aspect and the plunder aspect. Very excited to get her into battle. Let's jump on in. Where you at, Gauntlet? Loaded up. See if we can't fetch a couple trophies while we're at it. no Poro King today, and so maybe we'll be able to snatch up the full 10. I feel bad. I kind of want to go back to that Poro King deck and see if we can't really take the Evelyn out and feast it up to being a real 10 trophy winner. It was so brutal. Every time you draw Evelyn and you're just like, yeah, I'd rather just discard this. the sure sign that she doesn't belong in the deck. But that's a chat for another day. We'll focus in on our plunder decks today. See if we can't maybe get a plunder pandemonium out there. Feels good. Opponent's been found. What do we got? So what is this? This is the Ephemerals deck. Looks like the Ephemerals piece being Ionia. Yeah, he's got everything in there. Oh, that's Gwen at the bottom right. I thought that was Nidalee, and I was like, well, I guess I can understand that, right? If you're going to see like have a Nidalee on the board and then play a Haunted Relic to summon 3 units and get her to flip pretty quickly. Like I could most certainly see that being a thing, but not quite what the opponent's bringing. That was actually Gwen down here. So let's see how this goes. We picked up Sejuani, and she can be exceptionally important in this match. It's just as the opponent's going to be much more aggressive towards us than we're really capable of dealing with, and so as we're going to be kind of control decking at this game, it would be nice to get this Sejuani flipped as fast as we can so we can shut down some of the opponent's attacks. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw Fizz away. We're going to drop the warning shot now. I suspect we may actually need this Blade's Edge in the future as a way to just deal a point of damage to the opponent, but we'll see. I mean, we're getting right on track to leveling her up. Opponent has nothing, so if we do the Blade's Edge this turn, then we can go in with Sejuani 2 turns from now. Get that flip, but we won't have any of the kind of level up aspects that we're looking forward to. I'm sorry, we'll have the Sejuani leveled up, but we won't have any of the damage-based spells to frostbite the opposing team. I think I'm ready to... This is tough. Like, I don't really care if he has the combat trick to kill our Jack. Ooh, wow. I was not expecting Jack to survive that one. But we do really want to ensure we get that Sejuani flip next turn, and so I think we're gonna just have to keep the Cutthroat around to help make sure. Oh shit, we're short on. I thought Sejuani was coming down next turn, and mathematics never my strong suit, and so we should be able to get the flip, the 5th damage in, but we'll see what turns up. Okay, we got Parlay and Pirouette, so we got all the tools that we could need, but we lose out on them before the turn is over.
Do not see what is, see what will be.
Alright, well, not a ton of reason to play Pirouette here. We'll just go ahead and attack. If he wants to take the block with Azir and then we get the kill afterwards, cool. You know, I don't think we're going to be too upset about that, and so let's at least offer it up and see what happens. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, just a little bit of heal for our Jack as well. That's kind of cool. Kinda cool. Now, I don't... Ooh, no, his unit can summon back Azir now, right? I was like, this is really sweet getting the Sejuani onto the Eternal Dancers, but it's going to be Hallowed 1. Hallowed 1's going to be enough to bring back Azir. But I think we'll still be okay here at the end of the day. 1 point of damage from Azir isn't that big of a deal. Opponent calls it a day. I was interested in this next turn. What was going to be more effective? Whether or not we should be open attacking and then rallying, or just dropping the flipped Gangplank? Because, you know, the Gangplank isn't typically like a big value play. You're not like, oh boy, I wish my opponent had 6 units on board so I could kill them all with Gangplank, right? You know, it's nice to get the units removed, but it's not really what you're out there looking to do. You just want to get that big crack of damage in. So I'm not certain if we would prefer to be kind of taking that route, or if we would have been a little bit better off to just take the rally. But like if we had a Blade's Edge or something in hand so that we could guarantee the rally on the next turn for the Plunder Commander, whatever that guy's called, then I think I would have felt a little bit better about it. How do we feel about this? We don't have either Gangplank or Sejuani in our hand, and so I think we'll save the Blade's Edge, right? If we're playing Eternal with Gangplank Sejuani when we have 6 copies of them in our deck, we're just so much more likely to actually come in and draw them by the time turn 6 rolls around, and so I don't think it's just super worthwhile there. But let's not get too far off track. You typically want to save things like Tusk Speaker for your opponent's attack token, right? As we could see in that previous game, we got the flips really fast, but we didn't have any ways to activate Sejuani outside of the attacks, and so you play the Tusk Speaker on the opponent's turn, and you get the flip that way. But I think that we're gonna, try and just be too clever. We can still kind of come in and just try and win this game without too much of that nonsense. So I think I'm okay with the Tusk Speaker there. Curious what opponent's doing. If he's just trying to get the Yetis on top because he doesn't have anything to do. Like, why wouldn't he just attack or just block last turn if that was going to be the game plan? Right, but rack up the Plunder's got a really good looking open attack for this next turn. The opponent with their nothing to do is about to get nugged for about 8 next turn. No complaints from me. I mean, I could definitely see taking this a little slow and putting these units on board, but we're going to have such good open attacks on this following turn as well, and they're all going to be able to ignore these big units, right? If we have Father Fury and an elusive Songstress and a Fizz, and then we've got them backed up with 2 combat tricks. So let's just take it a little slow.
Many tribes under one banner.
Let me at 'em.
Pots a boiling.
It's a bit unfortunate for the Songstress. If we want to get her down with elusive, we have to play one of these cards that we don't really want to play. I'm not worried about this damage in any way, but it's like, do we really want to Tellstones just to get the Songstress elusive? Which, if we're going to be playing into, say, like a Harsh Winds next turn, then having access to this second elusive unit's pretty good. That's close. I wish we could just get a kill on one of these units with the all-out. Maybe we can. Maybe we'll just take this angle.
Break against me.
If he starts playing spells here, that would be, fine. If he wants to play a flash freeze or something. Seems like a bit of a preemptive shared spoils, though.
I give voice to the ocean's song.
All right, combat time.
I'm coming in.
So this is the bummer with losing out on the all-outs. If he tries to, if he does Harsh Winds our Fizz, then we could actually still get the flip there. We'd be playing 2 spells. He would flip for +1 attack, and then we would have the 2 from the... We would have been okay. We would have been okay. All right. GG. It's interesting getting to see both avenues of attack from this deck come forward right in the first 2 games, right? That first game was most definitely carried on the back of Sejuani, and then our second game was carried on the back of this elusives coming at you kind of theme. Interesting to see these things play out like this. The thing that worried me about that second game is like we're a little bit short on stuff to do, right? That's one of the problems you run into these decks that have like Warning Shot and Blade's Edge and these cheap spells that you're just trying to pop off. Like if you don't draw your black market merchants and your pilfered goods and your barbed edges and stuff, then you don't get the opportunity to recover some of those cards. So here, let's get rid of Gangplank. It might be a bit of time before we're able to pop off with him. I don't have great expectations for these early game units here. I would expect this PNZ deck to just have a ton of burn in it that's going to be capable of taking down Samiras. So we'll see how these first couple of turns start out, but I don't think we're going to be leveling Gangplank anytime soon. And even keeping the Fizz was probably
I excel at
a bit
making heads
aggressive.
turn and
But
roll.
I fully suspect the Samira to just get domed.
Slip
Oh.
through my paws!
Didn't happen.
This should be fun.
I'm not gonna get too clever here. Like, I think that she just gets hit way too often, right? Here comes the Mystic Shot. Like, getting this Fallen Feline off the board isn't super critical, but coming in and activating Plunders for, like, our Black Market Merchant can be. So, let's take it a little bit slow there. We'll go ahead and Blade's Edge. Gives us an activation on our level up champions when this guy dies. Whoa. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. How do we feel about playing Fizz? There's not too many spells that can actually kill him at this point. Alright, let's be greedy. Let's be greedy and see if we can't get this open attack next turn without spending one of our spells. There's not a ton that can kill him. Jack turns up. Well, I'd like to get Jack on board, but it's gonna cost all of our mana, and I'm not quite ready to give up on Fizz. This works, right? Yeah. I gotta double check. Hang on. Let's play the Blade's Edge first, just to make sure. It's unfortunate that you can't see these spells off of the burst. You can't check the Oracle's Eye. That was one of my tips for the intern, is to say, you know, it would be nice if there was a like button on your keyboard you could hold in, so that you can just say stop the stack and see if see what a burst spell will do through the Oracle's Eye. Still waiting on him to send that one up the chain, you know, but I'm sure he will before long. The intern likes to take our suggestions. Alright, but not bad. Getting the coins in hand can be pretty useful for our Jack and activating our Fizz and everything, and so let's see how this plays out. Let's just lead in with Blade's Edge though. We get the bonus for both the Songstress and the Father Fury by dealing the point of damage. Oh, healing Jack wasn't even on my radar. That's what we were out here trying to do. Give Jack the heals. Now, interesting. He's pretty big at this point, and his units can't block. We just lucked into 3 sisters. I think we want a Fury of the North here. This Songstress can come down later, but just such a high-powered hit with Jack in this space. Now with this, we only have 1 coin. I was trying to see if we had the mana, like if we start chaining off 1 more spell, we could get the Burblefish on board and also flip the Fizz. No, it's not quite gonna happen. I think we're still in pretty tip-top shape though. You can do stuff now if we want. We're not gonna spend enough mana though. We'll be 1 short. Right, this would spend us 1, we'd get 2 back. That's only 3 in total. 8 plus 3 is 11. You guys know I can do a mathematic on occasion. I can occasionally drop a mathematic on you. Oh, get that dum-dum out of here. No thank you with the rando lifesteal units. Yeah, we're so close to just burning them out. We're gonna get the rest of our elusives on board this turn. Okay. I'm not interacting with that mess.
Listen well as the waters speak through me.
So let's get some mana back. Add in the Burblefish. I think that's enough. If we just hit the three sisters again. Oh well. Learn from the master. Learn from the master. And then Shelly turns up. I don't think we need her at this point.
Wash away.
You can see how good Shelly could potentially be here, right? With the three sisters being 2 spells. Pilfered Goods probably hitting another spell. But this open attack is just too strong as it is. Rip. GG. Alright. Good job, Plunder Squad. Everybody working together. Feels good. Feels good, man.
And a belt.
Alright, next battle. Everybody loves the elusives, huh? I certainly do. I certainly do. If you're gonna come out and play stuff like Seraphine, then you deserve to just get dumped on by elusives, and so definitely feels good. I've been thinking. I felt so bad as we played through played through the Open this season, and we were playing the Jinx Cannon, but I included Reggie's in our version, and just playing Reggie and generating sputtering song spinners. It was like I started to see. I could start to see why the Seraphine players like these cards so much, as having so much fun with the song spinner, and then the 10 mana thing that puts 10 cards in your hand or whatever it's called. But I don't know. It just feels like I'm breaking a piece of my moral code if I come out and play Seraphine. Just like once you get a taste of the drugs, you can't put them down, right? It's like the drug dealer coming by, just giving the kids all the drugs for free, you know, because that happens. Once you get a little taste of that Seraphine, you gotta stick to it for life.
Cup of tea? Fine by me.
All right, no answers for Nora. A bit of a bummer, but still a pretty reasonable start.
Playing a different game.
I don't think she's going to want to interact with us next turn, so we should be getting Jagged Butchers and Swindles and Shared Spoils all popped off. Got sand. Didn't hit a particularly strong one with the Nora, but trading 0 cards for 1 is always still a pretty good deal.
About who's better. It's about the coin.
So in the Swindle, interesting. I don't think we want Caustic Riff. Good to know that he has it. We could make use of the Submersible. This is one that it's not tough for us to play 10 separate cards, and it's going to tie into some of our themes. I just think Back Alley Bar is going to be a little bit too slow. So let's take the Submersible here. And then I'm pretty sure we want to we want a Death's Hand Nora on this turn. So I'm just going to add in Jagged Butcher, and then with the opponent only having 1 mana, we'll try and get this Nora off of the board. Just there shouldn't be a ton of spells that they can have next turn that would protect Nora. But it's like if we go for the Blade's Edge and he tags her out or something, I don't want to have to deal with her just sticking around on board. Kind of an awkward hand now, though.
Are you ready for a fight?
Say your farewells.
Not enough mana to really do anything. Or we have the mana, just don't have the things to activate. Now Fizz turns up. We don't have any good activator spells for him. Let's just go ahead and
This
swing.
should be fun.
Curious if he wants to come in and just take this damage. Can Caustic Riff out of this, which is kind of annoying. We know he has it, right? We saw it. It doesn't look like a super appealing one. And so, oh no, we weren't plundered. Shit. Oh shit. Well, that's not good. I'll go ahead and categorize that one under that's not good. Little whoops. Okay. I guess he doesn't have to play the Caustic Rift there. Oh man, what a bummer.
Huh? Well, maybe.
Now we're spiking powder pandemoniums at this point. Everything's just going wrong this game. This has just been pure nonsense.
Never gets old.
Oh, think I got a beat.
There's no reason to lead out with this Fizz. We're going to end up playing him this turn, but we'll drop the Blade's Edge. We'll drop the Shared Spoils. Like, we could Powder Pandemonium, but it's only for 2. Just doesn't do enough.
Come on, people. Let's make tomorrow today.
I'm curious how close his is to being activated. This is not good, though. This is not good.
I help when I can. Shut up when I can.
We aren't. We're kind of close to threatening lethal. I don't think we're close enough to make him be like, "Ooh, I can't play back alley bar this turn." We'll see. We could just open, right? If we just open attack, he doesn't get the chance to play his submersible. It just strikes me as the turn, knowing that he has back alley bar, that he really wants to just play back alley bar this turn. He says didn't get to grow. Alright, elusive friends.
We're working here.
The Steel Tempest. Pretty good generate from Seraphine. Pretty good.
Keep it up.
Okay, GG. On to the next one. That's one of those spots if you're really trying to climb up the ladder, or if you're in some kind of tournament to where your game's going to end, you can just finish that off. I don't feel like in this space there's much reason to much reason to play against Seraphine with Seraphine on board, bar in hand, 12 health, and like 8 cards in hand. It's just that game. That game is done. We probably won't get killed for like 4 more turns, but that game was over. All right, into the next one. Not a particularly appealing hand. This is what you could consider half-assing it, in that we've drawn a couple of different angles of our deck, and none of them are really synergizing together. We did pick up a lot of late-game stuff out of this hand, and so that's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. You got to start playing something, though. So let's make it rain. We'll Shared Spoils. Interestingly enough, with the Make It Rain, it puts us in a spot to where the Aberration Trapper just can't block Jack. And so maybe he'll get to pop off something next turn. But doesn't make it any more ideal what we just had to do there. Other Fury, though, we hit pretty well on our Shared Spoils. Hit pretty well.
A chill in the air.
So do we want to deal any damage to this archer? Like, I don't think so. You can't actually trade with our Jagged Butcher at this point, and if at the end of the day he just kind of comes out here and gets into combat with these 2 smaller units, and that's probably enough. It doesn't really feel worth the Blade's Edge, right? We could just Blade's Edge his face and feel a little bit better about it, or use it to activate Citrus Courier. It just doesn't feel particularly special in this space.
I heard the war song in the waves.
But decent enough Tusk Speaker, and I imagine we're going to be fairly all in on the elusives at this point, between Father Fury and Zap trying to do stuff.
You poor thing.
Go ahead and take the block. I don't think we're going to be getting combat damage in. And if opponents like Herder, it's Tryndamere. You know, I want to be able to soak up a big 8 overwhelm hit if that's what it comes down to. And then, you know, we'll see what happens on this upcoming turn. We may find ourselves wanting to just, say, Powder Pandemonium for 3, hook the Trundle out of combat, and then we might get to punch in with Jack. I mean, I think that sounds pretty reasonable in this space. Like, this turn we'll take the opportunity to just try and max out on Powder Pandemonium. On opponent's next turn, we can play both the Zap and Mirai Songstress, and then 2 turns from now, we can try and get 2 elusive attacks in with the Father Fury and the elusives, and then the Citrus Courier giving us a rally. I think that's the way we want to take this. Like, opponent just has way too much health to count on to count on Powder Pandemonium dealing like 5 and 6 damage in the late game. So I did pick up a block for Jack. Can't directly do anything about Combat Cook, but we can just shatter him. So if he blocks Jack, he's not gonna deal any damage. Oh shit, that Powder Pandemonium doesn't give vulnerables anymore. I forgot all about that. Shit. Well, I don't play too much Samira Fizz. I'm sure everyone at home is well aware of the nonsense that we just did. I was expecting those hits to roll through, and it just was not the case. I think we're still fine. You know, we got a healthy chunk of damage in. He's not really advancing his board. Trundle's not too scary at the moment. So I think we'll be able to do this elusives thing 2 turns from now. But I definitely set up everything with that turn with the intention of his units getting vulnerable. And so it's kind of awkward when that wasn't the case. We can start off with Zap. 3 Sisters could be useful. Losing out on some elusives here, which is a bit of a bummer, but
Get ready for a beatdown.
it might still be enough. Drop in the Songstress. We could look to do something with Black Market Merchant, right? We have the Blade's Edge into Black Market Merchant, but I'd like to be more certain that we're going to get this Plunder next turn. Like, I guess if we don't get the Plunder off of the elusive attack, we're probably just dead anyways. But I think it's probably worth going for. And the dread way to throw a wrench in the plans. It's just too dangerous. Alright, elusives go. I'd much rather see him just say, like, play a Harsh Winds here than we get to edit our strategy. This thing unfortunately gains 3. I was going to say, well, we can now 3 Sisters over to the Zap Spray Fin, but I don't like how that looks anymore. So we're just at 4. I think we're stuck on a rally this turn. It's not enough that we can do. Like we haven't answered to like one big unit next turn, right? But I think that on this next turn, we're going to need to look to getting the Dreadway on board and then making something happen with him.
I fight.
Sure. See if that Feel the Rush comes in this round. That would be problematic as well, but I'm just leaning on being able to play the Dreadway and play a Flash Freeze off of this Three Sisters onto Trundle. That's our angle to potentially get a victory here. Yeah. Oh. Let's see if he hits the bad champions. Zoe, we can block, and Udyr doesn't have Overwhelm. So we're still in it. We're still in it. He's going to hook the Citrus Courier with Trundle. I can't tell if Trundle's big enough to even get the kill here, but we have blocks on everything else.
The ocean herself will fear us.
The fear is mine. This is gonna be fun.
Fire beware!
Ready to hook.
Okay. Looks good, right? The Dreadway even gets the kill on the Trundle. It's pretty sweet. Now, we can... Oh, we don't have the mana. I was going to say, we can Fallen Star something now, but... You know, we don't have the manas for that. And so, ideally, he's not going to have any answers to this Dreadway. We should be able to Stylish Shot for 2, Blade's Edge for 2, have Gangplank be flipped. Got lots of great options here.
I am reborn of salt and brine.
Let's see if opponent sent this one to the old punt zone, you know. Of course. Of course. It's frustrating. But at the very beginning of the video, when I was talking about your champion selection in regards to Feel the Rush, that was exactly why. His champions weren't capable of doing anything. We could stop all of them in that space, and that's the real worry to adding in some of these champions that you feel the rush and it just gets blocked. And so at least with someone like Jack, he gets to come on board and have Overwhelm. It's just frustrating to have it go so nicely, so perfectly, and then opponent just have the remainder of the ways to fight out of it. It's just is what it is, I guess. All right, into the next one though. Playing against some kind of Victor Pile. The opponent leads with Zoe, and we have a block. Always kind of cool to have it go that way.
Easy, Tiger.
See how it goes from here. Not gonna let her pick up those cards. We don't have a hand that really activates with this Samira. I mean, I guess we could have. The initial play here was to just have Shell Shocker on turn 1, gain the mana. Then on turn 2 we can play Samira and try and get a hook. But I don't think it's quite worth chasing down these level up effects. We don't have the champions to really make them pop off.
I go wherever the waves take me.
Alright, we're gonna take a bit of damage here, but like, this isn't a deck that we should have to worry about a lot of damages coming in. So like in that previous game, to where we were kind of worried about like the overwhelm potential of a Tryndamere coming in, like with this collection of champions, we should just have pretty much infinite time. We should be able to fall down to like 8 or so without really worrying about how much damage the opponent's doing. So let's push towards this Samira flip. We have a ton of mana in this space. I want to go for the monkey business. I want to hook the Sandhopper with our Samira. See if we can't pop off a little bit. It's down to 2 mana. Nothing he picks up with the Priestess is going to get him out of this. A Samira should be pretty safe with this hook into the Sandhopper. If he has a Pale Cascade, it's not going to be enough, and then he's got to be playing some pretty weird and terrible cards to to win the combat. If you want to play Targon Shield or something, I guess that's okay. Who do we find? A Songstress? Okay, so I mean, we're definitely going to be getting the Samira flip next turn, even if it's just Death's Hand into Mirai Songstress, so feel pretty good there. Shit. That's unfortunate. Let's just pass. He's gonna hook Samira 100% of the time. I think I still want to go for this flip in the middle of combat. So we're gonna Death's Hand the Warrior, gonna Flare. That's gonna give Samira the flip, and it should take down the unit at the end of combat. We'll still have the mana to get the Songstress on board.
Don't hold anything back. I want.
So it sucks to lose out on her, but at the end of the day, opponent just spent a ton of mana to not really accomplish anything, and hopefully we're going to be pushing ahead a little bit with this Songstress. He's going to be down to 13 this turn. She'll take him to 9. We have essentially 3 burn in hand along with a rally, and so got some pretty decent opportunity just to finish here. I don't think there are a handful of problematic cards that can come off of this, right? Something like Steel Tempest would be a problem. We really need to hit with this damage. I want to get our Stylish Shot back. And so, like, a Steel Tempest would be annoying, a Hush would be annoying. I think something's coming in. Pokey Stick and Ebb. So he's coin flipping on it? Okay, I guess. See if anything comes out of here. Spell Thief. I don't think he's played anything to where the Spell Thief is going to pop off. Alright, fine. Nice dice roll, I guess. It's just like you're so close to ending the game if that one hit comes in. It's a bit of a bummer to have it fail like that. But all right, things are kind of reset. Maybe we'll pick up a Gangplank or something off of these draws. Oh no, that's just fucking disaster. Both Feel the Rush and the Powder Pandemonium? Okay. I don't know what more you can say in these spots. Brutal. Such a weird collection of dudes coming down now. I guess like that was a double trouble, but phew, okay. Alright, Inferno, you've got elusive. Let's see what you can do. Somebody's got to turn the tides for us here. Not gonna be you. And we hit a 0-3. Just, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is turning into one of those lottery ticket games. Just gotta go and, I never know how to handle it in terms of should we just buy tickets because our luck has been so bad, or is our luck just going to continue to be ridiculously terrible and we have no business No business playing the real life RNG games. Fucking bonkers. Yep. Gotta love seeing that lifesteal come in. So I mean, we're gonna be spell thieving. I guess we could play it now. We really need to hit the song spinner and then hit with the song spinner. Let's see what turns up. I was gonna say I bet we just miss. So Gruesome Theater is gonna be a little bit short of returning the goat, but we can use it to send back Moon Boy or something. I don't think transfusion matters here. We're not really getting into combats. Disintegrate gives us some options in terms of getting that goat off of the board. Again, heavy metal, I don't really care about heavy metaling any of these units, and we could disintegrate, make it rain, and potentially just hit. Now Trail of Evidence. To Rune Squire. Okay. Well, the other thing with the Make It Rain is if it just like lands on the goat, we can send that back with Gruesome Theater, and so let's see where this lands. Just almost pretty close to just the actual worst that it could ever be. Not surprised. Just not surprised. I don't know. Like, sometimes you just got to accept it. You gotta say, okay, I've taken all of my bad RNG and just thrown it squarely into this game. Oh, Jesus.
Osu, help!
Alright, we'll take it this way then. So what we're going to be looking to do now is we've got this Rune Squire. It would be really cool if we hit +2 attack. Of course we don't. Let's just continue on with that angle, right? But if we hit +2 attack, we can put that onto Fizz, be pretty close to a lethal. I mean, on next turn as well, we can still chase down some of these rally-based plays, and so we'll see. I'll go ahead and play Fizz now. It doesn't look like we have a ton that we can do. We do have the flare, so it should be obvious that some shenanigans can happen, but I'm really looking to soak up a spell with this Disintegrate. Three Sisters. So we can Three Sisters the Fizz for the Fury of the North, but then we're short on mana of killing with Citrus Courier. It's like we're going to be dealing 6 either way. Let's slow our roll. Would we prefer to... I guess the thing is we can try and hit for 6 this turn and then rally next turn and maybe get a kill. I just worry if we take that angle, opponent's going to try and open attack on us, and there's just not a lot we can really do about that.
I want to show you something.
So let's send it in this way. We'll try and take this quick attack Disintegrate onto Aphelios. I assume, like, Gravitum is here. It might be enough to shut down the Rune Squire, which is, you know, fairly whatever at this point. I think I'd be happy just to see this spell come down and not do anything, but also opens us up to a space next turn to if we want to try and rally with Chum the Waters, it gives us an additional angle of attack.
Oh, you're all so cute.
I would like to get Chum the Waters down. Like, I don't know, he's just sitting here doing a bunch of shit that doesn't matter. So we'll see how it goes from there, but there we go. There's the Pursuit of Perfection. We at least have the answer to it in the Three Sisters. technically do everything. We'll see how opponent approaches this next turn. Everything that we're doing is going to be very slow, but it's a 10 mana play to do the Citrus Courier and the Three Sisters with the Flash Freeze. Pirouette. Another winner in terms of would have been a stun potentially.
Please don't hurt them.
So that's 8. Got to block a little bit more. It's like I guess the real question is, can we ever win this game without Fizz, right? We're in this spot to where if we just block one unit, we end up dying to we end up dying to like a Mystic Shot. Well, he has to play it right now. Fine. Oof. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, fam. You're saying there's a chance. You're saying there's a chance. Alright, our Fizz is naked, but if he gets to hit, we got the 3 from him and the 1 from the Pirouette. Don't have the spells to protect him anymore, but I mean, I don't know. He didn't have the Mystic Shot right there, so.
Like a fish in water.
Aight, fellas, squeeze the cheeks. We might have found a way. Might have found a way. when RNGesus has certainly sent you to the depths of hell, then it's always beautiful to potentially find a way. Come on. Okay. All right. Well, let's go into this next turn. Be sad about it. I guess we might have a draw or two that can get us out of this. Battle Fury. I mean, technically, maybe. All right. Oh, what a game, man! That just feels like one of those matches to where I feel like if we got to play that one 100 times, I feel like we'd probably win it like 90. And that was how that like 10 of 100 matches go, that where you just can't get that win. It's going to be some rando game to where they have Pursuit of Perfection and you can't do anything about it, and it's going to be a random game like that to where literally every piece of RNG just goes completely wrong or in your opponent's favor, and it just kind of is what it is. But nonetheless, we could pull this deck up, talk about it a little bit more. I mean, in terms of Singleton, it's reasonable. I ultimately feel like we're half-assing this just a little bit. You know, there's a little taste of that, but I think a lot of the concepts happening here is still pretty okay. I think the way we should probably realistically be taking a deck like this is on the one side, you can come in and play elusives. And so like there's probably a very realistically strong like PNZ elusives Bilgewater kind of deck, very similar to what you see in Constructed with like Zoe. I guess Zoe's in Targon, but like you do have a lot of options in terms of elusives, and it's very strong, and there's a lot of potential for it there, especially with the inclusions of stuff like Fleet Admiral Shelley, or you have access to people like Nami to really kind of push through with this elusive big attack kind of theme. And then on the other hand of the coin, I think you have more of a more mid-rangey, control-y style Gangplank Sejuani based Feel the Rush kind of deck, but you probably lean more in to a lot of the mid-rangey kind of themes, and so we should maybe be playing like Avarosian Hearthguards and Revenas just to have the kind of like stat boosting stuff, and they all work kind of nicely with the likes of Spirits Unleashed, and then you have just, you know, a nice mid-rangey style of deck in that space, and you maybe look to play some of the Forge package along the way or something. And so I think there's definitely some options there. It's just as you like find yourself playing in these Eternal formats, there's most certainly a space for a card like Warning Shot. There's most certainly a place for a card, you know, like Parlay. But the decks that like really want them, and you have to be able to have that kind of big density of having these just horrible, terrible effects in those decks that specifically want them. And so I feel like as we come out to battle with this in something like Singleton, we run into too many games to where we just don't have Sejuani to dig us out of a game to where we played a warning shot, we played a Blade's Edge, and we didn't have any card draw to go with it, and things like that. And so it's like, as you do play, say, a Gangplank Sejuani deck, and you have the full 6 copies of those champions in your deck, you're just so much more likely to actually draw them and drop them on turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, to where you don't quite get that in Singleton. And so I think that you can, again, definitely find a good space for those champions, but I think this kind of like all-inclusive package here is just a little bit too much. I think the Plunder package is a little bit too weak. The Elusives package can fit within other decks and just be a little bit more focused, and then the same with Gangplank Sejuani. They can be a little bit more focused in kind of in a kind of overwhelms mid-rangey style deck that doesn't suffer for some of these draws that drew too much of the Elusives package within it. But nonetheless, good set of games. I can't wait to win the lottery later after that last one. And so if I'm the newest billionaire in the world, we'll see if we still keep making these videos, because I am due for the luck after that one. And so we'll see how it goes. We'll let you know. So that is going to do it for us today. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.